Hey everybody, Erica here from In the Company of Cards. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. So, happy Friday. Few things to look at. I did want to let you all know that over on Substack, if you are a paid subscriber, I am going to be doing readings just like the ones that I've done here um, on Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. Uh, I'm telling you all just because, the line gets so long over here on YouTube. On Substack, because it's for paid clients, the line to get a reading will be shorter. So the odds of you getting a reading could technically be higher. I think it's like $5 a month. You can subscribe and then unsubscribe if you wanted to. But that'll be for paid subscribers. And what I did is in the community tab here on YouTube, I put the Substack link. So when the time comes, which is Sunday, just hit the link and you can get in on that. Okay. Um, Trying to cross-pollinate and just get people uh, visiting both the platforms, which is YouTube and Substack, because YouTube can be kind of funny sometimes. Just saying. Anyway, I wanted to look at a few things. One is the situation in Maine as of today. Graham Plattner has officially bowed out, put his paperwork in, so he's done and dusted and can go on his way. And so now there will be a sort of a convention. This will be, I think, 600 people from the state of Maine who are delegates, I guess, to this convention, and they will be picking whoever Graham Plattner's replacement will be. Bear in mind, you've got, 100,000 people who cast ballots. They're just going to have to trust that the delegates will um, do right by them. Now, there is a candidate who has kind of risen up to the surface. That could just be for a hot minute. We don't know. Troy Jackson is his name. He is also considered a progressive. Uh, I think the thing to do, because again, there's going to be a lot of people in the field. It's going to be a crowded field now that Plattner's out of the way. And now that we've not heard anything from Janet Mills, so one would assume she's not interested. So it's going to be a bunch of people. And so I think what I want to do just in the moment is take a snapshot of whoever it is that they nominate against Susan Collins, and I just want to see who has the better cards in this moment. Again, it'll change. The election, obviously, in the end, is not until November. But, whoever the Democratic nominee is, it could be Troy Jackson, could be somebody else. I'm not going to worry about who it is right now. I'm just going to pull five cards for that person and then five cards for Collins and then see how things look. Okay. So this is for whoever the Democratic nominee ends up being. And then this is for Susan Collins. Okay. Well, very interesting. So, for whoever the Democratic nominee turns out to be, again, maybe it's Troy Jackson, maybe it's somebody else. We have the bear, we have the moon, we have the whip, the mountain, and the child. Okay. And then for Susan Collins, we have the rider, Collins, the ship, the dog, and Clover. I'm going to say that if I had to pick a line that looks better, the line that looks better to me is Collins. Now, again, this is a snapshot in the moment, and this would be like if the election were held today. That's what I see. Um, you know, the bear, they will have the party backing, you know. It's, it's a little bit like the presidential situation that we saw with, not that much time after Biden pulled out for a campaign to be run. And so we saw what happened. But, they will back him. I do think that there is conflict between, as we've seen in the Democratic Party, just across the board, right? Between the old school Democrats and the more progressive branch. So it's a question of who does the party want to be in Maine? I think there will be a lot of fighting about this leading up to whoever they select. And I think every day that goes by and that there's that fighting back and forth, it creates more and more impediments for that Democratic candidate, whoever it is. And then I don't love the child card here. It's as though someone gets picked, maybe because they're malleable to what the party regulars want. I don't know. And then we have Collins. So the rider, here's she is. We have the ship. This is sort of her moving forward, having friends who support her, the Republican Party. And then we have Clover at the end. So she could get lucky. Now, the reason that I wanted to do this reading now is if I have Mainers who are watching me, and I know I do, if you don't like this reading, I certainly don't, then do something about it, right? Um, be active in your political process. That's the best that I can suggest because, Collins had a lot of support because, as I said in an earlier video, she's brought a lot of pork home to Maine. But ever since her vote for Kavanaugh, her support has weakened, but apparently not enough to get rid of her. So I think that the Democrats need to be very careful about whom they pick. And again, this hinges largely on whom they decide to be, who they decide to be, who the party wants to be, whether they want to be progressive, whether they want to be old school. There will be a lot of fighting about that. But again, it's not anything that I have anything to do with or can influence in any way. None of us who are not Mainers gets a vote. So may the best person win. Hopefully, Maine doesn't decide that it's Susan Collins. So you know what to do. Get out there and be involved. Okay. On the subject of Nolan Wells, I know that I talked about this with Lena if you watched the Wednesday night show. It's really it started quite a conversation on social media about friendship groups that cross racial lines and what those kind of friendship groups look like and what are they really, as opposed to maybe what they look like on the surface. It's quite a conversation. I want to know whether, oh, I see that beep goes on. Hold on, I'm just going to turn that thing off so we don't have to listen to the beep every time my mail goes off. Hold on. Sorry about that. I hate when the mail beeps. Okay. Um, I just want to know if charges will be filed. We Everything is beeping now. I don't even know what that was. Okay. Um, if charges are going to be filed against any of those young people who were with him until they were not that night. We know there was arguing, we know there was fighting, we know that his phone returned with the friends, but he didn't. We know that he was found deceased, drowned. Um, we also know that these young men erased their social media and that they also erased the social media from Nolan Wells, the text conversations from Nolan Wells's phone, which they had possession of until it was returned to the family. So something went on, and but again, we're talking about Mississippi, and I don't think I need to explain what that means to say about something like that, but I just want to know, will charges be filed um, in Nolan Wells's death? Or will it be like other Black people who end up hanging from trees for no reason? Because again, as I'll say it again, no Black person would hang themselves from a tree. It's just not in our DNA. We get hanged from trees, but we don't hang ourselves from trees. So will these connected young people, by connected, I mean they're connected to law enforcement, and they're legally, I think there might be lawyers also who are family members. I know that Nolan Welsh's family has been very public, and that's really good. They've retained a good lawyer, Ben Crump. So will charges be filed? And I'm just going to pull five cards. I'll let Spirit pick them all. Okay. Um, we have the Tower, the Sun, the Young Woman, Clover, and Fish. So, hmm, interesting. Now, Clover feels like court stuff, like, where the place where charges are filed. But I think there will, Ben Crump is no slouch. He will be sure that no stone is unturned and that the flashlights are shined in those dark places that people would prefer to keep hidden. Um, Interesting that this card pops up because the other thing that we apparently know is that Nolan Wells was talking to some girl. And so one of the stories that's going around is that he decided that he didn't want to go back with his friends. He wanted to stay and talk to some girl. We don't know who the girl is yet, but we're gonna find out who the girl is. Uh, you know, I I don't know, I could just think of uh, situations like Emmett Till, who ended up being accused of whistling at a white woman, which he did not do. The white woman later confessed. But by that time, Emmett Till had been murdered. I don't know, we're talking about Mississippi. I'm just saying, uh, the white woman is the white man's prize. Did Nolan Wells overstep in their opinion? And is that why he was unalived? I don't know. But I think that there will be some information that comes forward, uh, like maybe not the girl herself, but somebody who knows who they were talking about, because this feels like luck, like somebody deciding to do the right thing out of um, out of feeling the emotion of the moment and deciding to step up and give what information they know. So I do think there will be charges. That's as much as I can say because we know that charges get filed not infrequently and still nothing happens. But I think charges will be filed in this case. Yeah. Yeah. These young men have all retained um, legal representation and they are being very closed-mouthed, which, it's just shady. So I think I think there will be an attempt to bring justice to the family. But, there's a long way to go between now and then. And we know how that goes sometimes when, you know, one doesn't get a jury of one's peers or people are excluded from juries for all kinds of reasons. Remains to be seen. But we will find out more about this situation. We will learn the details, and I do think charges will be filed. Um, Maybe something, well, I was going to say, if the local authorities don't want to press them, I don't know, maybe could it be, um, his civil rights were violated because he was unalived. But I don't even want to speculate on that because given the nature of the police state that we live in, I can't see federal charges like that being filed. Um, Not in this climate. So we'll see. Okay. In other news, so Chuck Grassley, who is 92 years old, um, has been in the Senate forever. He is the Senate Judiciary Chair. And, one thing you can say about Grassley, he's from Iowa, Republican from Iowa. I'm not a fan, but I don't have to be. But one thing that we can say about him is that he takes his job seriously in terms of wanting, um, he wants a reckoning, a financial reckoning of how the people's money is spent. So I appreciate that. And so to that end, he has asked, ordered Cash Patel, the head of the FBI, to give such a financial reckoning of all of the money that he seems to have spent for things that don't really fit the bill for his job description. Things like air travel to places where his girlfriend is going to be performing under the auspices that he has FBI business there when he really doesn't. There's some fleet of fancy cars that we, the taxpayer, bought for his private use. There has been complaints by, I guess, FBI agents who have said that their jobs were threatened if they did not ensure that he had a good time and that entertainment was not properly arranged for him wherever it was that he was going to go. He's just, I mean, so what I want to, I mean, good for Chuck Grassley. I think that's great. Uh, how will Cash Patel fare? I have always seen him falling, being removed. Um, could it be this sort of financial overreach, we'll call it? He's not an old man, so we will use the young man card for him. And I just want to know, will Patel be felled by Chuck Grassley's investigation of his financial, alleged financial misappropriation for personal use? Okay, so we're going to use the young man, and that will stand for Patel. Okay, so here he is. Okay. So we have the snake, we have the tower, we have Patel, we have the anchor, and we have the heart. So, first of all, he is in trouble with the government. He is in trouble with the government. Snake is trouble, tower is government. He's in trouble. He's in the center. The thing is, I can mirror that government card with the anchor. And an anchor is an oxymoronic instrument, right? It can either sink us or keep us safe. I think that certainly the felon thinks it's to his advantage to keep Patel exactly where he is because Patel knows too much. So I don't feel like this is him being sunk, much as I wish that he would be. And then we have this heart here, and this just speaks to the fact that part of why he's in trouble is that he's been trying to make an impression on this girl that he's been seeing. She's a country singer, uh, I think considerably younger than Patel. Um, and he's trying to act like a knight in shining armor and be very impressive and all of that, by the fact that he can fly her here and fly her there and get security for her and all that. But this is causing him trouble. This is causing him trouble. I decided I would pull some cards on some of these to clarify. So I pulled cards on Patel himself. We have the whip, we have the stork, and we have the scales. It looks to me like he'll end up getting a scolding. He will promise to do better, and he will make restitution for whatever he's not paid. So I think he'll get a slap on the wrist and pay back whatever he needs to pay back. Not what I wanted to see, but that's what I see. So then we have the anchor, and the clarifiers are the rider, the lily, and the letter. Yeah, I think he'll be safe. I think the White House, the felon probably will say, leave him alone because I need him. We need him. You don't want him out there jobless with all the information that he's got. Uh, so I think this will sort of calm down, die down, and maybe be like a letter put in his file, something like that, like a warning. We have this heart here, and the clarifiers are the key, the bear, and the birds. Well, I mean, again, he's in love with this girl. That's why he's been doing all of this stuff and being such a bully about it. He's not a nice guy, he's a bully. And it has created gossip in the agency and amongst the FBI agents and the Secret Service and people who have to jump when he says jump. But he's being really bad-mouthed. I can mirror that with the snake. So I don't think that this particular Grassley inquiry will um, end Patel's career. I would love it to. I'd love to be wrong. I don't think it'll end his career, but it'll be a letter in his file. Nobody wants a letter in their file. And I think like a nail in the coffin. So if he doesn't make good on those um, purchases or whatever, that money that he's been spending, or if he finds it's found that has kept doing the kind of things that he was told not to do, well, that's a different story. But I think they will let him off the hook just because he knows too much. That's what I think. Okay, let's see what's next. I wanted to look at this latest that we know of, public killing of a person by ICE, and this is Lorenzo Salgado's case. Um, Araujo Salgado, I think is his name. And, It's very reminiscent of uh, the the Good killing. No, yeah, the Good killing. Yeah, Renee Good. Uh, they shot him. They shot in, like, reached in and shot after they'd already shot him, after the car already was stopped. There are witnesses, and the witnesses are undocumented. And so apparently they have been asked to sign um, a paper saying that they would self-deport. And apparently they are feeling pressured to sign because they're afraid. Um, and of course, ICE and the government don't want these people to testify as to what they saw. So I just want to ask the overarching question, will there be justice for Lorenzo Araujo Salgado's family? Will there be justice? Um, I'll let Spirit pick all the cards. So we've got the dog, the birds, the mice, the sun, and the book. Now, we already know that ICE has said that he was not the person they were looking for. So there's that. It's also true he was undocumented. So there's that. These are the lawyers. These are, I feel like, the witnesses. I don't love the mice in the middle. I really don't. We have the sun and then the book at the end. You know, this is not just lawyers. The dog also can be, for example, Salgado's friends, the people who witnessed, the witnesses, the people who witnessed, and they may have been there. They may be in the process, right, of being coerced into saying, I really didn't see it. I can't say definitively X or Y. I think that's what will happen because they can hold deportation over these people's heads. That said, here we go. It's one more incident of ICE killing a civilian for no reason. So it creates buzz, more buzz than before. And people saying, if we didn't think this was a police state before, how many killings do we need? And I mean, we don't care about the black people, but they're killing everybody else now. So what are you doing? It's creating buzz. But I don't like the mice. I think that because of we're in a police state, allegedly, uh, they will find a way to get out of this. Let me pull some clarifiers on those mice just to see. Yeah. Yeah. So the mice are clarified by the snake, the fox, and the young woman. Here, the young woman card, this just is about the fact that, witnesses should have power because what power do they have? The power to tell the truth about what went on, but they're disempowered because of the threats against them by ICE and the government. This is the government playing fast and loose. saying, sign this paper or say what we tell you to say, or else don't like the snake together with the mice. So will he get justice? I don't think so. Again, this is a snapshot in time. If anybody who is concerned about this case doesn't like that reading, then do what you can do so that the outcome is different. Nothing is written in stone. But as things stand now, there will be a concerted effort, absolutely, on the part of ICE and the government to sweep this thing out of the way. Can't sweep it under the rug because it was done in broad daylight, but out of the way. Um, they can do what they want. He wasn't documented. He shouldn't have been here. Da, 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 whatever they say. Um, yeah. All right. One last thing, just because, inquiring minds want to know. So apparently on the 10th, which was when? Yesterday? Well, today. Today's the 10th. Today, um, Harry and Meghan and Archie and Lilibet, the the foursome, met with King Charles at Highgrove, his private residence. Apparently, Camilla was there, and Camilla and Charles hosted them. Of course, there were no pictures because there really shouldn't be. And I'm sure everything was civil and warm, we'll say, as warm as the royal family can be. But let's just see how it went and 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 what will come of it. I guess that's what I want to see. We know that Charles is unwell. We know that maybe what came of it is that they got to see him, because who knows how much longer he'll be with us, or with them. But of course, we all want to know, will there be some sort of thawing of the relationships between the Sussexes and the rest of the family? Um, family meaning firm, because it's not really a family, is it? It's more like a firm. So will there be some thawing? Will there be some place for them found? Um, I'm assuming William and Catherine were nowhere in the vicinity. So how did that visit go? Hmm, let's use the house, because I'm sure it was, inside where nobody could see anybody. No telephoto lenses from paparazzi. So we're going to use the house for that family reconciliation, family meeting, and see how it went. Okay. How it went, and will anything come of it? Okay, so this is the place where we'll call this High Grove, right? Where they all met. Okay. So we have the snake, the clouds, High Grove, the anchor, and the star. So think of this as what's already happened, right? There's been bad blood, there's been a lot of confusion, just a lot of ugliness, as there can be in families. Uh, and you slap a layer of royal paint on it, and I'm sure it's 10 times worse. So this is the past, okay? So then they met, and interesting that we have the anchor and the star. So in this case, well, all right, let me just say I can mirror this anchor with clouds. So I think it might have been like a one-off so that Charles can see the grandchildren and his son one more time. Um, but clouds imply that there was nothing decided per se. Uh, Things seem a little bit status quo in terms of their place in the family. And I can mirror the star, which is hope in the future and all that, with the first card, which is the snake. Remember, it's not just the family. It's as Harry said in his book, Spare, which is a harrowing read. I read it and it was just whew. Um, the men in gray suits who make these kinds of decisions. It's not just William and Kate being unpleasant about things. Uh, so here we go. This is the house, and the clarifiers are the son, the woman, and birds. I think that Camilla, of whom I am no fan, because I'm Team Diana, but anyway, but Camilla was instrumental in this meeting. This is a card for talking and meeting and stuff. So she was present, she was there. And I think she helped facilitate it. And I think she also helped keep the mood light and cheery. Okay, fourth card is the anchor. Clarifiers are the young woman, the stork, and the dog. I'm sure that this is Meghan, was on her best behavior, um, hopeful, wishing that her children could meet their cousins, right? The three children of William. Not this visit, maybe, but another visit. I'm sure she probably expressed that desire that the cousins could get to know each other. And then our fifth card, remember, was the star, and we have crossroads, child, and fox. So this is, hope for the future. That's nice. Um, they were going down this path, but now they're started down another path. That's also good. It was a small start, but I don't like the fox at all, nor do I like the fact that I can mirror the fox with the very first card in the reading, which is the snake. And this is the men in gray suits. Uh, from their perspective, there is no good that can come of welcoming Harry and Meghan and company back into the fold. We know that a lot of what started the what the breach was when Harry and Meghan went to South Africa. Remember that? And were so popular. And juxtapose that with poor William, who went somewhere in the empire and wore like a white safari outfit. Can you get more colonial than that? That was just bad form. So the fact that Harry with Meghan is so popular is perceived as not helpful. You would think it would be helpful, but it's not perceived that way at all. Um, there are competitive camps. And so I think this is just going to be what it was, which is an opportunity for Charles to see everybody and for everybody to see him. And that I don't think it'll go beyond that, despite certain people wishing that it would. I think there's still a lot of distrust of Harry for having written that book, which again, I really recommend. Uh, um, but, you know, he burned a lot of bridges with that one, I have to say. I get why, and for his own growth as a human being, I get why he did it, but I just, the that royal family's 1,000 years old, and there is a history of them putting relatives in towers and beheading them and hanging them and all that. So um, this is not going to be for them the kumbaya reunion that we all would like it to have been. Although I think a good time was had by all, and I think everyone was very pleasant. And I'm sure Charles was very happy to see the children and the children to see their grandfather. And again, I do think Camilla did her part to facilitate a pleasant afternoon, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. They won't be the Fab Four. Uh, that's not going to happen. Meaning Harry and Meghan and Kate or Catherine, sorry, Catherine and William. They will not be the Fab Four. All right, that's it for today. What's today? Friday? Yeah, so that's it for today. Sunday, I will be on Substack doing those live readings for paid subscribers to Substack. So if you want to get in on that, no pressure, but again, it's a shorter line, so you might get your question answered. And the questions can be anything personal, political, whatever. Um, I'll do it again here at some point, but not for a while. So if you want to find me, that's where I'll be on Sunday evening. And have a great weekend. I'll see everybody soon. Take care.